SEC Players of the Week, Offensive Players of the Week, Stetson Bennett and Jaden Daniels shared the award. Daniels, 95 yards rushing, 182 yards passing, and, of course, the game winner, the touchdown pass to tie it, the touchdown in the overtime to get him to the two-point conversion, and in the pass to win it. I thought Daniels was fantastic, obviously. He was at his best, but what he didn't do was go out there and have to and try to play a game that did not suit him. And I beat on that drum all week last week. It's like, listen, he doesn't have to go out there feeling like he's got to throw for 400 yards. He doesn't have to take the whole team on his back. All he's got to do is play the way that he has been playing the last several weeks, play his game, and LSU's going to have a chance to win. And that's okay. So I got that one right. I really felt that way. I did not feel like LSU in any way was completely outclassed in this game. They had to play well. I mean, they couldn't go turn the ball over 4 times. They couldn't have 130 yards in penalties. They couldn't give up a block punt or a kickoff return for a touchdown. But if they just played their game, they were going to have a chance to win. And Daniels was right there at the head of that. He looked confident. He looked very, very comfortable in what they were asking him to do. And Alabama was struggling with him pretty much all night. Even at the times where they were able to hit him, he bounced back. I thought he was incredibly poised for the moment. And that ain't easy. Sometimes moments like this can eat a player up if they let it, and he didn't. He was fantastic. Defensively, Defensive Player of the Week in the Southeastern Conference, Harold Perkins, 8 tackles, sacked for a 6-yard loss, 3 quarterback hurries, broke up a pass. I have never seen the spy played as well as Harold Perkins played it on Saturday. When you ask a guy to spy on a quarterback, usually what you're hoping for in a best-case scenario is that he will contain that quarterback, that he will skate sideline to sideline and funnel that quarterback when he decides to run back in towards where his help is. Or you will keep him from running and you keep him in the pocket until the pass rush can get there. Perkins did all of that and he attacked. And when you're the spy and you're out there and you got the quarterback one-on-one and you attack, you better not miss because that's where the big plays happen. And Perkins didn't miss. He takes perfect angles almost every time. When he closes, his closing speed, I've never seen it. We had Brian Haldane, our PD down at Talk, was in here before the show. He says, you ever seen a freshman linebacker here? And look, LSU's had plenty good ones. The Devin White was a running back when he got here. Trev Falk or Brady James. I brought up the name Michael Brooks from the 80s or Eric Hill. Those guys were all – and look, there's been a bunch of good linebackers come through here. Al Richardson had 8 million tackles in his 4 years at LSU. He was great. But I've never seen one come in and have this kind of impact and do as many things as this young man can do. He was fantastic. He is unique, and he simply played the position that he was asked to play better than I've ever seen it played before. And I try not to be, the prisoner of the moment or whatever, but I've just never seen anybody play the spy like that. Now, that would have been enough. He just does that. That's plenty. That's SEC Player of the Week. I'm saying all these things about how he plays the spy, but that's not all he did. Matt House called a really, really, really strong and creative game because he put Perkins on the edge to rush. At times he dropped him into coverage. There was one play in the first half where he faked the blitz and backed up. And I don't want to speak for Bryce Young, but I can't imagine that by somewhere in the middle of the first quarter, he wasn't coming up to the line going, where the hell's 40? Because I need to know where that guy's at. Lane Kiffin and Jackson Dart told you this 2 weeks ago. What changed in the game? We needed to know where 40 was. I can't imagine that Bryce Young wasn't thinking the same thing very, very early in this game. Freshman of the Week in the SEC, and they didn't double up on Perkins. They gave this one to Mason Taylor. 2-point conversion, and, of course, the touchdown pass with under 2 minutes to go. Hadn't seen that play run with the tight end this year yet. Not the 2-point conversion as well, but the touchdown before that. In the Tennessee game, it seemed like they targeted the tight end an awful lot, but I don't remember them targeting him in the red zone the way that they did on this play. For him to go out and make those plays. We know that Brian Kelly is very, very high on using the tight end as a big part of his offense. And when we started the season, didn't really know, that was considered a position that they didn't have a lot of depth, and they didn't know exactly what they were going to have. And did they have tight ends that were going to be able to play in a passing game the way Kelly liked to use them at Notre Dame? And they've got another first-round pick up there at Notre Dame this year in Mayer. Now you have one. Now you've got a guy that you know you can count on in the biggest moments. Mason Taylor, we talked about him a little bit in camp, and it's like, hey, this guy looks the part. I mean, everybody knows who his dad is. I mean, it's getting to the point where he is getting the Kramer Robertson treatment every time his name is mentioned. Do you know his dad was in the Hall of Fame? Did you know that Kramer Robertson's mother coaches college basketball, women's college basketball? That never gets brought up on the – but anyway, he was poised. He was fantastic. And if you had any doubt that he had left everything he had out on the field, did you see him embracing with his mother after the game? I mean, the guy's got tears in his eyes. You think he's not invested? You think he's going through the motions? You think the words transfer portal ever entered his mind? That's the way to talk about last year at this time. Transfer portal was the buzzword. You think that cat's thinking about transfer portal? Hell no.